tie this game up. 4-2, Tigers have the lead. Ellie Larson at the free throw line for the Jaguars. First one is up and in. It's now a 1-point game. Jaguars have had 5 attempts from the free throw line. They've made 3 of them. Here's the 6th attempt, and that one's not going to go in. 1 for 2 on that trip. It's a 1-point game, 4-3. Jags put pressure on the backcourt. Tigers get it over the timeline, and that pass is going to be intercepted by Morgan Nelson. Morgan Nelson hustling back, and up court, I believe that's Treader off the glass, and then it is. Jenna Treader makes up for those 2 missed free throws and gives her team a 5-4 lead. Back the other way now come the Tigers, and Macy Danielson will poke that ball out of bounds, and she'll also pick up a reach-in foul. First team foul on the Jags. First one on Macy Danielson. Inbounds pass is swatted out of bounds by Morgan Nelson. And the Tigers will try again from the near corner of the baseline on the inbounds pass. Looking, still looking, and bounce pass into the baseline. Can't quite see who that was. She fell to the ground, then got surrounded by 3 Jaguars. And then the ball will go back to the Jaguars. So 5-4, 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter play. Larson, Morgan Nelson, long 2 is up and no good off the back iron, too strong. Tigers pull down the rebound. Little spin move there, high on the right side, and then dribbling into the lane and then kicking it outside. Shot up no good, and then the rebound and the shot up and in. That gives the Tigers a 6-5 lead. That was Caitlin with the bucket for the Tigers. 6-5, near wing there. That is, let's see here. Have to dig out the varsity roster here for just a second. Shot up, front, a little short. Rebound by the Tigers. That's Brooke Degernis who's in for the Jaguars. I'll have to write her in on the scorebook. And that is now done. She's in the scorebook. Tigers will inbound from along their own baseline. That inbounds pass is intercepted by Morgan Nelson. Jags coming back the other way. Nelson still with the ball, finds Danielson. Her shot's blocked cleanly by the Tigers. They'll bring it back the other way now, up 1, 6-5 with 5:07. May have gotten away with the travel there. Shot is up and no good. That was Kaya with the shot. And 5 minutes to go, baseball pass, rainbow pass down half the length of the court. Ends up in a turnover for the Jags, and the ball will go back to the Tigers. So turnover per side here for each team. 4:55 first quarter, 6-5 Tigers lead. Now on the near wing, and a nice defensive play by Morgan Nelson to swat that one out of bounds. And the Tigers will inbound from right in front of the Jaguar crowd, which is right in front of me. Tiger fans on the far side of the gym from where I am sitting. If you're not watching the game on Jaguars Online, the Tigers are going from right to left. The Jaguars are going from left to right. Couple shots up, no good. Couple offensive rebounds. Another shot up, no good. And that time the ball will go out of bounds. Last touch by Morgan Nelson will stay with the Tri-State Tigers. 6-5, 4:32 to go. Once again, if you're listening on the North Dakota Sports Channel, certainly appreciate that. If you want to watch the game, you can do that, northerncastschool.org, and then click on Jaguars Online. You'll find that on the top right corner of their website. And then the audio from the North Dakota Sports Channel will match that video, and you can listen here or watch and listen there. Tigers will go to the free throw line up 8-5 now off the bucket by, I believe that's Maddie S. So let's double check the jersey number there. And it was indeed Maddie S. So she got a bucket plus converted on the free throw. Shot is up and a little too strong there, and a defensive board pulled down by Caitlin. Once again, first name basis, and now the Tigers have a 1-on-0. Going to the hoop and lays it in off the glass. That is Mary. That's her second bucket of the game. She has 4 points now. It's an 11-5 lead for the Tigers. Morgan Nelson across the timeline finds Danielson on the baseline for the long 2. overshoots the bucket on that one. Ball will roll out of bounds, but stay with the Jaguars. So I'll stop the clock with 3:58 to go here in the first quarter of play. Once again, junior varsity game up now. Varsity game will follow this one. Inbounds pass comes into, let's see, the other, I have to grab the C roster out of my bag here. Not sure who that was for the Jaguars. Since we have a stoppage in play, I'll do that. Tigers will inbound from the baseline. Yesterday, I needed the boys roster, and I grabbed the girls roster. Today, I need the girls roster, and the first one I grab is the boys roster. How about that, friends? All right, so now that we got the C squad roster here, (11-7) now. The bucket was by Janessa Volk. That's who scored the other bucket. And there's another bucket for the Jaguars, and that makes it a 2-point game. It's 11-9. Shot up, no good. Loose ball tracked down by the Tigers just in front of the free throw line, kicks it out. That would have been a 3. But her foot moved to the line before the ball left her hand, and instead it's a long 2. 13-9, make it 13-11. Nice job there by Macy Danielson to get the bucket for the Jags. Back the other way, Tigers shot up and in. That was Mary. That's just 6 points now for the Tigers. 2:35 to go as the ball will go out of bounds. Turnover for the Jags and goes back to the Tigers. 15-11, 4-point game now for the Tigers. Back the other way now. Morgan Nelson will swat that one out of bounds. Nice defensive play there as the pass was intended for Caitlin. And the Tigers will inbound it from underneath their own hoop. Inbounds pass comes right into Caitlin, and then it's swatted right out of bounds. And last person to touch it was one of the Tigers, so we'll go back to the Jaguars, and the Jaguars will inbound with 2:24 to go in the first quarter. Down 4, 15-11, advantage Tri-State. Over the timeline, and across it is Brianna Treader. Treader kicks it out to the free throw line area. Shot up, no good there by, that was Anika Reichel. And then the ball rolls out of bounds, and Jaguars will inbound it. 3 team fouls per side here. Treader will trigger the inbounds pass right intended for Janessa Volk, but it's stolen away by the Tigers. And that was Maddie Kay with the steal and the bucket. 2 minutes to go, 6-point game, 17-11. Tigers have the lead and the advantage right now. Treader near wing, kicks up top of the key to Ellie Larson. Swings it over to Degernis. Degernis dribbles into the high post and comes out to the top of the key. Near side there, that is Reichel. Reichel gets it to Ellie Larson just beyond the free throw line. Rainbow shot up, no good. Rebound will come down to Ellie Larson. Cross-court pass, long 2 from Treader, and that one falls a little bit short. And looks like Volk and a couple Tigers got tied up on that one. The possession arrow will favor Tri-State, so they'll take over the possession of the ball. Up 6, 17-11 with just over 90 seconds to go here in the first quarter of play. Tigers bring it over the timeline, picking up the dribble, now swings it over to the far wing, nearly intercepted by Treader, but the Tigers will maintain possession. Dribbling into the lane now, and then almost lost her dribble, and it will result in a foul on the Jaguars. It'll be team foul number 4. And Macy Danielson, Morgan Nelson will check in, and checking out will be Brianna Treader and Anika Reichel for the Jags. Tigers inbound from underneath their own hoop. Inbounds pass comes into Kelly. Kelly shot up, no good, and then the Jags pull down the rebound. Macy Danielson has a one-on-one. She'll take it, put it up. A little too strong on that one. Tigers pull down the rebound. Up 6, and they have a 2-on-1. Morgan Nelson, the only defender, and she successfully keeps that bucket from going in the hoop, and then a jump ball. Or, yes, a jump. No, that will be a foul, actually. Shot up and in, or not in, I should say, and then loose ball rebound will come down to the Tigers. Second shot, no good. Morgan Nelson pulls down the defensive board for the Jags. She picks up her dribble in the backcourt. She's in a little bit of trouble. Her pass intended there for Degernis will go into the JA on the scorers table. JA of the word Jaguars there. Once again, if you're listening online and you're not watching the game, you can watch it. Just go to northerncatschool.org, and then the upper right-hand corner of the website there, you'll see a link called Jaguars Online. Click on that. You can watch the game simulcast with their audio here on the North Dakota Sports Channel. Tigers have the ball. It's Mary. Now she'll get rid of it and get the ball back. High post jumper up by Mary. Banks it in off the glass. She has 8 points in this game for the Tigers. 30 seconds to go, and an 8-point lead for the Tigers. Morgan Nelson looking for Danielson down low. Shot up at the front of the rim won't go. Nelson got the rebound. And then she will get fouled by the Tigers. I believe it was number 4. No, it was Maddie, number 33. That's her third personal. 4th team foul. Puts Morgan Nelson at the free throw line. She's 2 for 2 so far. 22.6 seconds. 8-point lead for the Tigers. And she misses the first of 2. Once again, first name basis for Tri-State. That was what was given to me. I got full names for varsity, but only first names for JV. 19-11, Morgan Nelson, second free throw up and in. 1 for 2 on that trip, 3 for 4 in the game. And that's a 7-point game. 19-12, 20 seconds to go. Steal in the backcourt by Morgan Nelson, and the bucket won't go in, but she will go right back to the free throw line. Nice defensive play there by Morgan Nelson. She'll pick up the steal and stop the clock with 17.5 seconds. With her team down 7, she can make it a 5-point game if she converts on both of these. The first one is up and in. Nice job there by Morgan Nelson. She's now 4 or 5 from the line here in the game. Second free throw from Nelson is up and in. 2 for 2 on that trip. And it's a 5-point game, and the Jags put pressure in the backcourt. And the ball is swatted out of bounds by Morgan Nelson. Tri-State will have to make attempt number 2 on that inbounds pass. Took 0.4 of a second off the clock. 17-5 to 17-1. This time the inbounds pass is successful. That will be Kaya bringing it over the timeline. Bounce pass into the low post there to Caitlin. And that gets swatted out of bounds. And it will remain, no, it was last touched by Tigers, so go back to the Jaguars. Inbounds pass comes in, I believe, I want to say that's Treader. No, that's Degernis, excuse me. Now Larson, 2 seconds on the clock, loose ball, and the shot will not get up in time. That brings us to the end of the first quarter with your score, the Tri-State Tigers 19, the Northern Cats Jaguars 14. Take a short beverage break and be back with the second quarter here on Jaguars Online and the North Dakota Sports Channel. All right, welcome back as we get ready for the second quarter of play here, and it's 19-14. The Tigers have the lead here in the junior varsity game. Tigers led in scoring by Mary R., where's jersey number 1. She has 8 points. Jaguars are led in scoring by Morgan Nelson with 5 points, all 5 of those from the free throw line. She went 5 of 6 in that first quarter of play from the free throw line. And the Jags went a total of 6 of 10 in that first quarter from the free throw line. Ball goes out of bounds, stops the clock with 7:56. And that was Jenna Maker who hit the floor there, and she looks like she'll be okay. So Treader will trigger the inbounds pass from the near side baseline underneath the Jags' own hoop. Substitution now is Jenna will go out. We'll make sure that she's okay. And coming in for the Jaguars is Isabel Binder. She'll get the inbounds pass, put up a 3. That one will bounce off the rim and to the right side. Rebound pulled down by Caitlin for the Tigers. 7:47 and counting, second quarter of play. 5-point game, Tigers have the lead, 19-14. And dribbling into the mid-post, now bounce pass, and that turns into a little spin move. Shot was blocked. Tigers maintain possession. Now a loose ball down along the baseline. That will go out of bounds and should go back to the Jaguars. They'll stop the clock with 7:32 to go here in the first quarter or second quarter of play, first half of play. Morgan Nelson down low will get called for a travel. Check that. That was Cassie Paycheck. Number 5 instead of number 4. My bad. Tigers have the ball now, looking down low. That's Maddie S. I'll get it out there to Mary R. Swing it around top of the key now, just inside of the free throw line. Bounce pass in the lane is intercepted by the Jaguars, and then the pass up court is intercepted by the Tigers. Turnover per side there. Whistle blows. I'll stop the clock with 7:01 to go here in the second quarter of play, and the Tigers will inbound the ball from just in front of the midcourt stripe. Near wing now, it's Mary R. I do have last name initials, but I don't have the last names. I'm not used to saying just the first name. It kind of sounds awkward coming off the tip of my tongue, but we'll get used to it eventually. Maybe by the couple minutes left in the fourth quarter is when it'll happen, but we'll get used to it nonetheless. Pass comes into the near wing there. That's Mary. Mary gets into the high post there to Kaya, and that shot won't count. There'll be a whistle and I believe a foul on the Jaguars. Yes, it'll be team foul number 5 on the Jaguars. Isabel Binder will check out. I did not see who checked in, but we can figure it out. It is Janessa Volk who checked into the lineup for the Jaguars. Shot up and in. That was by Jaden C, who just recently checked into the lineup for the Tigers. (21-14), 7-point game. Tigers have the ball and the lead. It's Jaden on the near wing. Swings it cross court over to Mary. Looking inside there, that is Emma S. First time I've called her name out today. Another foul on the Jaguars. It's team foul number 6 now on the third personal on Brooke Degernes. So she'll get a breather on the bench. And it'll be, see who comes in for her, but it's Brianna Treader. No, check that. Isabel Binder comes back into the lineup. Shot up, no good, and then a loose ball comes back to the Tigers. They'll maintain possession. That's Mary dribbling around to the mid-post. Her shot was blocked. Brianna Treader picks up the loose ball up in the air, and then they will call a foul, I believe, on the Tigers. (16 fouls per side now. That one goes on Maddie for the Tigers. 5:40, second quarter of play, 21-14. Jaguars looking to cut that lead. They won't do it this trip around. Maybe they will, and then maybe they won't. A couple turnovers back to back right in front of the midcourt stripe there, and one. As Mary R takes it down, gets points 9 and 10, and then steps up to the free throw line to see if she can get point 11 of the game. That'll be team foul number 7 on the Jaguars here, and the first one on Brianna Treader. 5:30 to go, second quarter of play, 23-14, make it 24-14. She now has 11 points in the game, and it's a 10-point game, 24-11 with 5:30 to go, second quarter of play. Jaguars will inbound the ball, and the Tigers will put a few men in the backcourt there, and that is going to be a double dribble. Binder tried to pass it, and that kind of slipped out of her hands, and then she basically caught her own pass, and that results in a double dribble. Tigers will have a chance to increase their lead as they inbound it from underneath their own hoop. Inbounds pass is successful, finds its way into the hands of, I believe that was Alyssa, and then the three from the corner is up and good. I believe that is Jaden, and it was. She has 5 points now, 27-14, 13-point game. Tigers are starting to creep away with this one here early in the second quarter. 5:10 to go. Jaguars sub pretty much the entire floor. We got 5 new players on the floor there. Cassie Paycheck is one of them. And Anika Reichel is another one. And Maddie Zetweg is one of the other ones. And that shot is up and in by Cassie Paycheck. That's 2 for her, and full court pressure by the Jags once again. 27-16 now. Paycheck will get the steal. There's a 2-on-1, and she'll take it to the hoop. A little too strong off the glass, but it'll result in contact, and team foul number 7 now on the Tigers, and that'll put Cassie Paycheck at the free throw line for the Jaguars. I'll have to see if I can get some names there on number 45 for the Jaguars. I don't have her on any of the 3 rosters. Free throw up and no good. And the Jags will get the ball back. It's Paycheck underneath, and a bounce pass gets intercepted in the lane. Back the other way come the Tigers. Unfair advantage there, though. 1-on-3, and it'll result in a travel and give the ball right back to the Jaguars. That's Paycheck. She'll advance it up court. Now near side there. Shot is up. No, it will not count. It will be a foul on the Tigers, but the shot will not count. Team foul number 8 now. And that brings the Jaguars up to the free throw line. Gonna do a live on the air question here. Hey, I got a question. Who's 45? I don't have her on any of the rosters. It's Emma Lucas at the free throw line for the Jaguars. Thank you very much, appreciate that. And she made the first one, she makes the second one. She has 2 points. 27-19, the crowd starting to fill up here in the gym. Shot down on the other end is up and in by Kaya, and that's her second bucket of the game. She has 4 points now. And there was another new player in there, I'm not sure who that is, number 43 for the Jaguars. Shot up by Maddie Zetweg, and that goes out of bounds. And one more question for you, 43. He'll get that to me momentarily here. Tigers have the ball now. That is Jaden C at the top of the key for the Tigers. Swings it over to the far side. Gets it back into the hands of Kaya. Kaya swings at top of the key to Emma, and now about a couple passes later, it'll end up in the hands of Emma once again. At the top of the key, bounce pass into the corner, nearly poked away. Long 2 is up, misses everything, and Lucas pulls down the rebound for the Jaguars, but that pass down court is intercepted. And then it's intercepted right back by the Jaguars. It'll end up in the hands of Cassie Paycheck. A 3-on-1 shot up and in by Abby Richmond. That's her first bucket of the game. Pulls the Jags back within 8, 29-21. Shot up and in by, that was Maddie. That's another bucket for her. She has 5 now in this game. Another shot up by the Jaguars, no good. Paycheck pulls down the rebound, misses the shot right into the hands of Emma Lucas. And Lucas struggling along the baseline there, and a whistle will blow, stopping the clock with 2:49 to go here in the second quarter of play. And Emma Lucas will trigger the inbounds pass for the Jaguars from underneath their own baseline. And maybe got away with the travel there. Jaguars have the ball, 2:40 to go. Shot is up just beyond the free throw line. It's up and in. And then another steal in the backcourt. It's Haley Crockett who just got that last bucket for the Jaguars. Free throw up, free throw in. That's Abby Richmond with the free throw. She has 3 points now. Makes it 31-24. And a substitution. Oh, no substitution. She was just talking to the coach on the sideline there. Richmond, second free throw up and in. 31-25, 2:30 to go, and the ball goes on the line. It gets poked out of bounds by a Jaguar, and then the Tigers will maintain possession. Mary triggers the inbounds pass for the Tigers. That goes into the hands of Kaya. Kaya swings over to the far side there. That is Kelly. Down low, shot up, no good, and runs into a double team. That ball is stolen away in the backcourt there by Maddie's. I remember how to said that last game, but now I'm Zwetig. I remember it sounds like sweat, so I'll see if I can figure that one out. Remember the last junior varsity game I called here, I got her name right. That's Crockett at the free throw line, misses the first one. 2:09 to go, second quarter of play, 31-25. Crockett, second free throw up and in. Crockett has 3 points. That's a 5-point game, 31-26. 2:07 to go, second quarter of play. Pressure by the Jags from the backcourt all the way up into the front court, and then a foul from behind, I believe, is going to be called on Crockett. Up with the Tigers at the free throw line, up 5, and 2 minutes flat to go here in the first half of play, 31-26. And I want to say that is, can't read the jersey number, it's either 1 or 2 at the free throw line. Off the front of the rim, it won't go. So it remains 31-26. Second free throw is up, and that one will drop in. And it was indeed Mary missing the first one, making the second one. She now has 12 points in this game and makes it a 6-point game. 1:57 to go, first half of play, 32-26. Tigers have the lead, and they just get the ball back off a Northern Cass turnover. Stops the clock with 1:55 to go. Inbounds pass in the backcourt. And now the Tigers will bring it over the timeline with 1:52 to go. Driving into the lane, tripping over the foot there of Abby Richmond. And will she get called for a foul? Looks like she will. It'll be her first personal. And team foul number 9. Tigers have 10 team fouls now. Jaguars on that play there pick up their 9th. Free throw is up off the front of the rim, no good. That was Kaya at the free throw line. Back the other way now, that is Lucas, or check that, Crockett. Crockett gets the bucket. 32-28, 4-point game. Pressure in the backcourt by the Jaguars once again. 90 seconds to go now in the first half. Tigers bring it all the way down. Nice defense there by the Jaguars. And the shot is blocked by Emma Lucas. Back the other way come the Jaguars. That is Abby Richmond with the ball, and then she loses it. It's picked up by Mary. Back the other way now come the Tigers. Looking inside, pass is intercepted. It's tipped into the hands of Cassie Paycheck, and then as she crosses the timeline, the whistle will blow. That'll stop the clock with 1:10, and another foul on the Tri-State Tigers will send Cassie Paycheck to the free throw line for the Jaguars with her team down 4, 32-28, 1:10 to go here, first half of play. It was 19-14 at the end of the first quarter. Now it's 32-28. Jaguars hanging in there after it looked like Tri-State was probably going to creep away with this one. First one is missed. She's 0 for 3 from the line so far in this game. See if she can break that streak right here. It's up, and it's in, and she does. Now she is 1 of 4. Makes it a 3-point game with 1:10 to go, first half. Tigers still in the backcourt. Now they cross the timeline, and that is going to be dribbled out of bounds. That will be a turnover on the Tigers and give the ball back to Northern Cass. Down 3 with a chance to tie or at least pull within 1. 1:04 to go here in the first half of play. Crockett triggers the inbounds pass into the hands of Richmond. Richmond crosses the timeline, gets back to Crockett here on the near wing. Crockett looking down low for Lucas. Pass is tipped and intercepted. Back the other way now. It's a 1-on-1, make it a 1-on-2. Clean block by Cassie Paycheck. And the ball goes out of bounds. And it will stay with the Tigers. But that was a nice defensive play there and a clean block shot by Cassie Paycheck. Stops the clock with 50.3 seconds to go. 32-29, inbounds pass comes in, tipped around, loose ball, picked up by the Tigers and then thrown out of bounds into the Jaguar bench. And the Jaguars will get the ball back once again. 32-29, 46.3 seconds to go here in the first half of play. In the backcourt, that's Crockett. Now she crosses the timeline. Just in between the circles, dribbles up near the top of the key, and then she's gonna get called for a travel as she bumps into a couple Tigers. Stops the clock with 36.4 seconds to go. First half, it's still a 3-point game. And substitutions for the Jaguars now. Checking into the lineup is Janessa Volk and Anika Reichel. So Reichel and Volk into the lineup for the Jaguars. Near wing there, it's Kelly. Swings it cross court, now top of the key, and it's intercepted. Loose ball now, and the Jaguars will maintain possession. Was there a timeout or was that a foul? It was a foul. It was a foul on the Tigers, so that'll send the Jaguars to the free throw line, and it'll be Abby Richmond stepping up to the free throw line with 20 seconds to go, and her team's down 3. Has a chance to pull her team within 1. If she can connect on both of these free throws. First one is up. First one banks back and forth between the back and front rim and falls through. It's now a 2-point game. Abby Richmond is 3 of 3 now from the free throw line. 32-30, 20 seconds to go. Free throw is up, 32-31. 4 of 4 from the free throw line. It's a 1-point game with 20 seconds to go in the first half. Make that 15 as the Tigers cross the timeline. Nice hustle there by Kaya. Bounce pass inside. A hook shot up, no good. Rebound by Kaya. She gets double teamed underneath the hoop, and she's going to get pushed out of bounds by one of the Jaguars. And now both teams are in double bonus. 5.3 seconds to go. Second quarter of play, 32-31, advantage Tri-State. Kaya's at the free throw line. She's 0 for 1 in this game. First one is up. Nice little rainbow arc there, but just an unlucky bounce, and she'll miss it. It remains a 1-point game, and she's now 0 for 2. And checking in for the Jaguars is Emma Lucas, and that'll give Anika Reichel a breather on the bench. 5.3 seconds to go, 32-31. Kaya's at the free throw line for the Tigers. Her free throw is up and no good. And loose ball rebound, 2 seconds to go. Pass down court, over the head, out of bounds, but the ball will stay inbounds just long enough for the clock to hit 0, and that brings us to halftime with your score, the Tri-State Tigers 32 and the Northern Cass Jaguars 31. We'll take a beverage break, add up some numbers, and come back with your halftime numbers, and I'm guessing they'll have some halftime entertainment, so we'll take that opportunity here to add up the numbers during that halftime entertainment. Once again, if you're not watching the game online and you'd like to, you can. Just go to northerncasschool.org, and then in the upper right corner of the website, you can click on Jaguars Online. Now, if you happen to want to watch the game on, say, your mobile device or your iPad, and you don't get the full website on one of those mobile devices, not a problem. Just go to northerncasschool.org. And then on the upper, I believe it's the upper left corner, you'll see 3 light lines. You tap on that, drop down menu box pops open. That's what I'm trying to say. And then towards the bottom of that, you'll see the word popular links. Tap on that, and then you'll see Jaguars Online. You can watch the game right there on your phone or mobile device as well. And once again, either there or on your computer via Jaguars Online, the audio from the North Dakota Sports Channel will be accompanying that video there. It was 19-14 at the end of the first quarter. Jaguars rally to keep things interesting here. 32-31 at halftime. We'll break and be right back here on the North Dakota Sports Channel. All right, welcome back. Halftime here at Northern Cass, the junior varsity game, 32-31. Tri-State holds the 1-point lead. It was 19-14 at the end of the first quarter, and then the Jags would outscore the Tigers 17-14 in the second quarter to bring us to our halftime score of 32-31, advantage Tri-State. Also, let's see here, about 15 minutes ago, I want to give a shout out to Sherry Murray for letting me know that number 5 is actually Faith Austin and not Cassie Paycheck. Certainly appreciate that, Sherry, and if you have any other corrections that I need to make or you hear something incorrect, certainly keep those messages coming, and I will update them accordingly. According to the JVC roster that I have, it was Cassie, but we'll go with Faith Austin. I trust the Northern Cass fans that they know what they're talking about. So certainly appreciate that once again, Sherry. Thanks so much for listening and watching, and for getting us on Twitter as well. You can follow the North Dakota Sports Channel on Twitter at NDSportsC. We tried to go with ND Sports, but apparently somebody else has that one, so we put the C on there to make things so we could have a Twitter account. And if you can't reach us on there, you can get me personally at 104Mason. You can also follow the North Dakota Sports Channel on Facebook as well. And also, of course, if you're not already familiar with the fact that I also do games on 103.9 The Truck, you can follow them on Twitter and Facebook as well, and get all the schedules for both channels hosted by me on the North Dakota Sports Channel, and swap between myself and Brad Anderson on 103.9 The Truck and 103.9thetruck.com. Proud to bring you all these games, junior varsity alike. Somebody mentioned about a year ago, it's like, hey, sometimes these JV games are just as exciting as varsity games. How come nobody does them? I didn't have an answer for that, so that's one of many reasons why the North Dakota Sports Channel came into existence. I'm the owner and creator of it, so I get to decide which games we do, and I will gladly do a lot of JV games here, especially for Northern Cass. I've been doing JV games for Northern Cass for almost a little over a year now. So, and it's actually really helpful because some of these JV players go on to play varsity the following year, and you recognize them out on the court. Even if they're wearing a different jersey number, you still know who they are in most cases anyway. And so that's always a positive thing there. So yes, we'll continue to bring you junior varsity games as much as humanly possible here, as we've even followed the Jaguars on the road a couple times this year. We didn't do any road games for JV last year, but we did the one up in Thompson last year, and we done the one in Endelin for the boys just a couple days ago, actually. And if you want to hear those games again, just follow us on mixlr.com/ndsports, and then any game that we've ever broadcasted is available there on our show reel. They are listed. The home team's always listed first. So, for example, this game would be labeled as Northern Cass Jaguars versus Tri-State Tigers. And you can look back to any game that we've done here. And within about, I'd say, 10 minutes after the conclusion of this broadcast, this game here will be available on our show reel for 24/7, 365 replay at your convenience. Tigers are on the floor warming up on the right-hand side. The Jaguars are out on the left-hand side warming up as I see it. And once again, our halftime score, 32-31. We're a couple minutes away from the start of the third quarter of play. So let's go ahead and take a look at those individual numbers. We'll start with team numbers, free throws. It was 1 for 1 in the first quarter and 2 of 5 in the second quarter for the Tri-State Tigers, making them 3 of 6 in the game, or 50% from the free throw line. The Jaguars were 6 of 10 in that first quarter and 5 of 8 in the second quarter, making them 11 of 18, or 61% from the free throw line in the first half of play. Individual numbers for Tri-State. Once again, Tri-State Junior Varsity on a first-name basis right now. Mary R. is leading the way with 12 points, and she's 2 of 3 from the free throw line. She had 8 of those 12 in the first quarter. Kaya N. is on the board with 4 points and 0 for 2 from the free throw line. Jaden C. with 5 points, all 5 scored in the second quarter. Maddie K. with 2 points. That bucket scored back in the first quarter. Maddie S. has, 5 points, including 1 of 1 from the free throw line, and Caitlin has 4 points. It's Caitlin F. Both those buckets scored back in the first quarter of play. For the Jaguars, let's see here, leading the way. It's kind of an even spread among most of the players, but Abby Richmond leading the way, 6 points, a bucket, and 4 from the free throw line. Right behind her, Morgan Nelson with 5, and Macy Danielson with 4. Faith Austin has 3, including 1 of 4 from the free throw line. And then Anika Reichel has 2. She scored that bucket back in the first quarter. Brianna Treader has a bucket and 0 for 2 from the free throw line in the first quarter of play. And then 1 point for Ellie Larson. She's 1 of 2 from the free throw line. And that, let's see, Emma Lucas had 2, Haley Crockett had 5, Janessa Volk had 2. Brooke Degernis played but has not scored any points yet. And now we are underway with the third quarter of play here for Northern Cass High School. Once again, 32-31, 5 seconds into the third quarter. Tigers going from left to right. If you're not watching the game online and you're only listening to it online, they're going from left to right. High post jumper up, a little too strong off the back glass. Rebound pulled down by Treader for the Jaguars. Her team's down 1. They have a chance to take the first lead of the game here. And that shot is up and in! Ellie Larson gets the bucket. And it's 33-32. Jaguars have their first lead of the game at the 7:27 mark of the third quarter. Back the other way now, that is Kaya. Swings it far side, couple passes later, ends up in the hands of Mary. Now cross-court pass up to the top of the key and nearly stolen away by Morgan Nelson. But Mary will be maintain possession, and then a whistle. That'll stop the clock at 7:09. And the ball will go back to the Jaguars. Treader will inbound it to Danielson. And then Macy Danielson will approach and cross the timeline with 7:05 to go here in the third quarter of play. That's Larson. Thought about the long 2, but gives it up to Morgan Nelson for a 3. Front of the rim, won't go. Rebound initially pulled down there by Janessa Volk. And then she gets in a wrestling match with a couple Tigers. The possession arrow will favor the Jaguars. Morgan Nelson will inbound that pass from the baseline underneath the Jaguars' own hoop. That comes into the top of the key, and that pass is intercepted by Mary. Mary turns around. She has a 1-on-2. Poke from behind there by Brooke Degernis, I believe, or was that Treader? It was Treader. Nice defensive play there by Treader. I'll stop the clock with 6:50, and the Tigers will inbound it from underneath their own hoop along the baseline now. Comes in, shot up, little short, offensive rebound, another shot up, hits the top of the backboard. I believe that's going to be out of bounds, or yes, it will be. And it'll go back to the Jaguars. 33-32, Jaguars have the lead. Danielson brings it over the timeline, gets a screen from Volk, cuts over to the far wing. Now looking down low, and then she tried to kick it outside to Treader, but the pass got deflected out of bounds. So now the Jaguars want to inbound it from along the baseline. Near side baseline. Morgan Nelson will trigger that inbounds pass. Looking, comes into Ellie Larson just in front of the near wing. Now baseline jumper up by Nelson. A little bit too strong on that one. Goes off the backside of the rim. And the rebound pulled down by the Tigers. 6:25 to go, third quarter of play. 33-32. And that pass is poked away and stolen. 2-on-0. Morgan Nelson to Macy Danielson. Shot up no good. Morgan Nelson pulls down that rebound and gets fouled. And Morgan Nelson will step up to the free throw line where she is, let's see here. She's only missed once. She's 5 of 6 from the free throw line in this game. Team has a 1-point lead. Her team now has a 2-point lead. 3-0 Jaguars here in the third quarter. 34-32 was our score. 2-point advantage for the Jags. Morgan Nelson made the first one. Second one is up, and second one is no good. Off the back of the rim, a little bit too strong on that one. And then the Tigers will pull down the rebound. It goes off the foot, nearly out of bounds. Tigers will maintain possession. And then that pass is intercepted by Ellie Larson. Larson has a 2-on-2, looking for Danielson, just a little bit over her head. And out of the reach of her left hand, and that'll go out of bounds and turn the ball back over to the Tigers. Macy Danielson putting a little pressure on the backcourt for the Jags on the Tigers as they inbound the ball successfully. That shot is partially blocked by Faith Austin, and then the shot goes back up, and I believe Austin just picked up the personal foul. .550 to go. Tigers down 2 at the free throw line, and the first one is missed. Tigers shift their defensive players into the backcourt and put 2 new players up on the line. Try and grab the offensive board here, should it be missed. And the free throw is up off the front of the rim and rebounded by Degernis. Degernis up court to Treader. Treader just behind the timeline, now over it. Loose ball will roll out of bounds. Last touch by, ... Lost touch by the Tigers. Still a 2-point advantage for the Jaguars. Faith Austin will trigger the inbounds pass into the backcourt to Morgan Nelson. She'll bring it back over the timeline, dribble up towards the top of the key, pick up her dribble. Now Danielson over on the far wing gets called for a travel. Inbounds pass, turns into a loose ball and a steal. Morgan Nelson gives it to Danielson, and then Morgan Nelson, I'm going to say that Morgan Nelson traveled. So she gets the steal, and then she gets called for the travel and gives the ball right back. Still 2-point lead, 34-32, 5:31 to go here, third quarter of play. Pressure in the backcourt, inbounds pass, finds its way into the hands of Kaya. She'll drive to the hoop, shot up a little bit too strong, and Degernis pulls down the rebound for the Jags. She'll bring it up court, all the way up to the near far wing. Give it to Morgan Nelson now. Dribbles up top of the key. That is Treader for 3. Got it! Brianna Treader has 5 points now, and it's a 5-point lead for the Jaguars. 37-32. 5:08 to go, third quarter of play as the whistle is blown, and the official goes over to talk to the Tri-State head coach, and that discussion resulted in, hey, I want a timeout. Timeout Tigers with 5:08 to go, third quarter of play. It's a full 1-minute timeout, 37-32. Don't forget the varsity game coming up here next on Jaguars Online as well as the North Dakota Sports Channel. I want to say thank you once again to Sherry for sending me that message about the incorrect name on the roster there. Actually, it wasn't an incorrect name. I just was looking at the JV roster instead of the varsity roster. So that was my bad, and I'm glad you sent that message because I'm pretty sure I got her name wrong last time as well. So glad to have that straightened out there. Certainly appreciate that. About 20 seconds remaining in the timeout. Morgan Nelson, through this point in the third quarter, has 6 points. Faith Austin with 3. Nika Reichel with 2, Brianna Treader with 5 now, Ellie Larson with 3 now, Abby Richmond with 6, Macy Danielson with 4, Emma Lucas with 2, Haley Crockett with 5 as we get ready to come out of the timeout, and Janessa Volk with 2 points. For the Tigers, 12 from Mary R. Kaya with 4, Jaden with 5, Maddie with 2, Maddie S with 5, and Caitlin F with 4. Matter of fact, the Tigers have not scored yet here in the third quarter, and 3 minutes are gone. Jaguar crowd fan base filling up here right in front of me to my left and right as I'm right over midcourt, making eye contact with the Jaguar on the floor there. Danielson will see the inbounds pass over the timeline, bounces it. I believe that is Degernis, and it is. She dribbles into the free throw line, kicks out the Treader, head and shoulder fake. Now Nelson at the top of the key will drive in, kick it out there to Degernis. She'll stop and put that one up from about 12 feet. Offensive rebound finds its way to the hands of Macy Danielson, then to Morgan Nelson. Then Morgan Nelson thought she maybe lost the ball out of bounds, but was last touched by a Tiger, and the Jaguars will maintain possession and inbound the ball with a 5-point lead underneath their own hoop. Near side of the hoop along the baseline. If you're familiar with the court here, it's right on the A of the word Jaguars on the left-hand side of the court. Morgan Nelson looking, comes in, and I may have gotten away with a travel there, but Degernis will give it back to Nelson. Dribbles out to the far wing. Now Danielson has it, kicks out to Degernis, and Degernis will lose it through her hands out of bounds and turn it back over to the Tigers. Inbounds pass is tipped out of bounds by Macy Danielson. Nice defensive play there by Macy, and Tigers will have to try again from in front of the Jaguar bench on that inbounds pass. This time it is successful. They bring it over the timeline, dribbling down to the low block, up and in off the glass. Nice job there by Mary, and that is points 13 and 14 for Mary. 4:15 to go. First points of the third quarter for the Tigers. And that pass there by Danielson, intended for Degernis, but about maybe 4 or 5 feet to the left of Degernis. Goes out of bounds. Another turnover goes back to the Tigers. And now Degernis will redeem herself and intercept that inbounds pass. And then a whistle and a foul on the Tigers. That'll be the third team foul on the Tigers here in the second half. Jaguars have 2, in case you were curious. Morgan Nelson will trigger the inbounds pass from the far side of the baseline underneath the Jaguars' own hoop. Bounce pass comes into the low block there to Faith Austin. A loose ball gets turned over into the hands of the Tigers. And now a one-on-one, still a loose ball. And now the Tigers will regroup and maintain possession. That'll be Mary with the basketball, and the ball gets poked out of bounds. Tigers will maintain possession and inbound it from near the corner on the near sideline here. 3:53 to go, third quarter of play, 37-34, 3-point game. Jaguars have the advantage. That's going to be, I believe, a foul on Morgan Nelson. She tipped it away, and now Morgan Nelson's going to head to the bench. I believe she might have a bloody nose. And checking in for the Jaguars. Couple of substitutions now. Ellie Larson and Janessa Volk check back into the lineup. Shredder will go out, and coming in will be, let's see here, that's Abby Rich. No, check that, Anika Reichel. Morgan Nelson sitting down on the bench there, over on the far side, and it does, I can't see it, but it would the way that she's holding that ice up to her nose would indicate to me that she does indeed have a bloody nose. But she'll be okay. 3:48 to go, third quarter of play, 37-34. Jaguars have the 3-point lead. They have held the Tri-State Tigers to just 2 points in this third quarter of play. 6-2 officially your third quarter score, advantage Jaguars. Head coach Luke Bush wiping up some fluids from the basketball floor along the Jaguar bench there, right on the sideline. Official comes over to inspect it, says, hey, you missed a spot. And he'll go over and clean that up as well. As soon as that gets cleaned up, we'll return to action here. 3:48 to go, third quarter of play. Once again, 37-34. Jaguars have the 3-point lead over the Tigers, who Tigers look to have this game in hand about midway through the second quarter of play, and then Jaguars would rally back, outscore the Tigers 17-14 in that second quarter to pull within 1 at halftime. They took the lead on the first shot of the third quarter and have not given up that lead since. 3:48 to go, third quarter of play as we return to action now. Tigers will have the ball following the extended officials timeout. Along the far side now on the near wing, that is Kelly. Kelly dribbles into the lane, gets called for a travel. 3:37 now, the clock is stopped. Faith Austin will trigger the inbounds pass, and the Tigers put some pressure into the backcourt. Inbounds pass comes to Macy Danielson, switches her dribble hand, I should say. Picks up her dribble, finds Faith Austin, makes a move in the lane and gets it to bounce in. Nice job there by Faith Austin. She has 5 points now. She also has a blocked shot in this game. 3:15 and counting. Pass inside, tipped and almost taken away by Faith Austin, then it is taken away. She'll head it up court to Macy Danielson, then they'll get poked out of her hands and back to the Tigers. Coming to the near wing now, that is Kaya. Kaya swings up top of the key to Mary, and then the far three is a little short, right into the hands of Faith Austin. Austin will give it up to Reichel in the backcourt. Now Danielson, baseline jumper up, a little too strong. Volk pulls down the rebound. I believe I heard a shot clock, but since it hit the rim, they get a new shot clock. And no, that was not a shot clock. I'm not sure what that was because I just heard it again. Danielson shot up no good, and fast forward to the other end of the court now. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Tigers. Stops the clock with 2:29 to go. Third quarter of play. 39-34 is our score. That's Mary over on the far wing. Kicks out in the corner. Long two is up and in by Kaya. She has 6 points now. 39-36. The Tigers pull within 3. In the backcourt there, that's Faith Austin. Pass is tipped into the hands of Ellie Larson. Larson picks up her dribble, gets down low, middle block to Danielson. A little turnaround jumper there for Macy. Danielson goes in. She has 6 points now. 41-36, 2 minutes to go, third quarter of play. Over the timeline, that's Kaya being guarded by Danielson. Kaya swings it over there into the hands of Kelly. Now back near wing now, that is Emma. Emma over to Kelly. Now Mary swings over near side there. Head and shoulder fake by Kaya. Dribbles into the high post. Shot up. Bounces off the rim a couple of times. Rebound pulled down by Reichel. And then a traveling call. So the Tigers will maintain possession as they'll inbound after the traveling call from underneath their own hoop on the near side baseline. Looking, comes into the far corner. Thought about the shot. Ellie Larson got into her face. She'll take a couple of dribbles in. The shot up, no good, and a whistle will stop the clock at 1:35, and a foul on the Jaguars. That'll put the Tigers at the free throw line. Down 5 right now, 41-36. Free throw is up and in by Emma. That's her first points of the game. And she's a perfect 1 of 1 from the free throw line. Couple substitutions for the Jaguars now as Treader and Degernis will check back into the lineup. Ellie Larson and Anika Reichel get breathers on the bench. Free throw up, no good. Faith Austin pulls down the rebound. 41-37, 1:28 to go, and the pass goes through the hands of Janessa Volk and out of bounds and goes right back to the Tigers. Stops the clock with 1:27 to go, 41-37. That's Kaya, swings it near wing now to, I believe that was Maddie or Emma. Ponytails covering up the jersey number. It's Emma. Danielson pokes the ball out of bounds, and I'll trigger the inbounds pass into the hands of Kaya. Kaya to Mary, and that pass into the lane is tipped and ends up in the hands of Degernis. Degernis with 1:05 brings it over the timeline, being guarded there by Kelly, and now a kick. And the ball will go back to the Tigers. It says, I think I peeked away from the court for a moment, but I believe it was Faith Austin's foot that got in the way of that pass there. Just under a minute to go, 57 seconds and counting. Tigers have the ball, and that's going to be intercepted by Treader. Treader has a 1-on-2, make it a 2-on-2. She'll keep the ball, a little too strong. Rebound comes down to Mary for the Tigers, and then it's poked away, and the ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Tigers. Nice defensive play there, but Degernis couldn't quite get enough speed to get to that ball before it went out of bounds. So the Tigers will get another shot at the possession here. Still in the backcourt. Now they'll get over the timeline, nearly intercepted by Degernis. May have gotten away with a travel. Shot off the back rim, no good. Faith Austin pulled down the rebound. Loose ball will get into the hands of Degernis in the backcourt. 30 seconds to go, shot clock off, loses the dribble, goes into the hands of Treader. Treader will dribble over to the far wing, poked by one of the Tigers off the foot of the referee. Back to, that was Kaya. Had that been a player, the referee would have called a kick. I would have called a kick on the referee there if you're asking me, but I guess there's a first for everything, and that's probably not in the rule book. What happens if the referee kicks the ball into a player's hand? Does play continue? That's one I might have to email Tom Mix on. Shot is up, and that's off the back of the rim, too strong, and follow-up shot up and in by... That was Mary again with the bucket. 16 points for her now, 3 seconds to go. Danielson. Shot would have counted had it gone in, but it did not. And Macy Danielson will step up to the free throw line with 2 seconds to go here in the third quarter of play. It's a 2-point game. 41-39 is our score. Advantage Jaguars. Check that. No shooting foul. It'll be inbounds pass for the Jaguars instead. 2 seconds. It'll have to be a catch and shoot here for the most part. Looking. Comes in, top of the key. Degernes, free throw line. Up, no good. And that will bring us to the end of the third quarter with the Jaguars leading by 2. 41-39 over the Tri-State Tigers. Tigers only scoring 7 points in that third quarter. The Jaguars scored 10 in that third quarter. Morgan Nelson now has 6 through 3 quarters. Faith Austin with 5, Anika Reichel with 2. Brianna Treader with 5. She got a 3-pointer earlier in the third quarter here. Ellie Larson has 3. She adds a bucket in the third. No scoring for Abby Richmond. She remains with 6. Macy Danielson puts in another bucket. She now increases her points up to 6. Emma Lucas with 2. Haley Crockett with 5. Janessa Volk with 2. For the Tri-State Tigers, Mary R. with 16. Kaya N. with 6. Jaden C. with 5. Maddie K. with 2. Emma S. with 1. Maddie S. with 5. And Caitlin F. with 4. If you're just joining us, we're on a first-name basis here for the JV team for Tri-State. If you're listening in the first half, it was a little awkward. I was not used to saying first names, but now I've got it down, I think. If I don't have it down, at least it sounds a lot better than it did in the first half. 41-39 as we start the fourth quarter of play. Good game here. It's been good in the first quarter, third quarter, and it leaned a little Tri-State in that second quarter, but late second quarter, Northern Cass rallies back, and now they have a 2-point lead. Until now, we're tied at 41, 7:40 to go. Fourth quarter of play, and you give that shot there to Kelly M. Kelly, that's her first bucket of the game. I believe that was Binder over on the far corner. She'll get the ball back, baseline jumper out the front of the rim, won't go. Loose ball rebound is still a loose ball, and it will go into the hands of the Jaguars. And that'll be Janessa Volk. Shot up, no good, and Janessa Volk will step up to the free throw line. She has 2 points so far in this game. Chance to make it 3, possibly 4. Still have not called an overtime game this season. We'll see if this is the first one. Free throws up and in by Janessa Volk. Her first point since the first quarter. 42-41. 2 for 2 on that trip. Makes it a 2-point game once again. 43-41, Jaguars have the lead. 7:11 and counting to go. Tigers pass it around the perimeter into the corner. Now bounce pass into the low post. Comes back out to the corner. Swings up top of the key there to Kaya. Shot is up and in, and we're tied once again at 43. That time it was Mary with points 17 and 18. 6:51 and counting, tied up at 43. Binder, shot up, and Volk, did she save that from going out of bounds? I don't think she did. No, she did not. It'll be a turnover, and it'll go back to the Tigers. Tie game, 6:47 to go. It's the second tie here in the fourth quarter. Fourth tie in the game. Nope, check that, only the third time. The last time it was tied, 0-0. Then we're tied at 41 and 43, and that's gonna be a travel, and the ball will go back to the Jaguars. 6:35 to go, fourth quarter of play. Degernes will trigger the inbounds pass there to, that's Anika Reichel, and then she'll give it back to Degernes in the backcourt. She'll cross the timeline, approach the top of the key, pick up her dribble, get it over far side to Ellie Larson, who gets called for the travel. Saw that one about a half a second before the whistle blew. Still tied at 43, 6:25 to go. Tigers have the ball over the timeline. They'll swing it over to Mary on the far wing, looking inside of the lane there. That is Kelly, and her shot up no good as Reichel hits the floor. Whistle blows, stops the clock at 6:16, and inbounds pass for the Tigers along the baseline. Looking, comes to the far corner there, and now to Mary, high post, near wing, three-pointer up, and a little too strong. Degernis pulls down the rebound. Back the other way come the Jags, tied at 43. Binder feeds the other side of the lane there. That was Jenna Maker, I believe. Yes, it was Jenna, because Grace wears the other 13 for varsity. So that was Jenna Maker who got that bucket for the Jags, and now it's 45-43. Northern Cass with the lead. Kaya swings it near wing there to Maddie. Maddie picks up her dribble, being guarded by Isabel Binder. Shot up, gets rejected by the bottom of the rim, and pulling down the rebound there's Jenna Maker. Now up court to Binder, and Binder is going to travel. She caught the ball, and then she looked to pass it. Before she took her first dribble, she had already taken 2 steps. 45-43, Jags with a 2-point lead. Shot up, no good. Rebound underneath, and then it's ripped away, and then falling to the floor. Jaguars will get called for a travel. That was Anika Reichel who grabbed the rebound and then fell to the floor. Tigers will inbound from along their own baseline. 5:17 to go, fourth quarter of play. 2-point lead for the Jaguars, 45-43. Shot up from the near corner, that one's no good. But offensive board pulled down there by Maddie S. And then the ball will go out of bounds. Whistle stops the clock with 5:08 to go. There is a foul. I didn't see who it was on. We'll find out momentarily. It is on the Tri-State Tigers. That's team foul number 6 now here in the second half for the Tigers. 5 for the Jaguars, if you're curious. Inbounds pass, and is that going to be another travel? No. The foul came before the travel, and Brooke Degernis will step up to the free throw line with her team leading by 2. 45-43, team foul number 7 now for the Tri-State Tigers. It's a good game, but I just want to remind you, this is the junior varsity game, so we have one more game coming up after this one. 45-43, Jaguars lead, 5:03 to go, left in the fourth quarter of play. And Brooke Degernis steps up to the free throw line for the first time in this game, and she will miss the first one. (45-43), 5:03. Degernis missed the first one. Takes a couple of dribbles, takes a couple more, now puts up the second free throw. That one's going to be a little bit too strong as well. Loose ball rebound comes down initially to the Tigers, and then it's stolen away there by Janessa Volk. Janessa Volk shot up won't go, but she'll go to the free throw line. 0 for 2 for Brooke Degernis on that last trip to the free throw line. Now we'll see what Janessa Volk can do. I can tell you that she's a perfect 2 of 2 in the game so far, and she's a perfect 3 of 3 now. Extends the lead to 3, 46-43 with 4:57 to go. Substitution now for the Tri-State Tigers. Janessa Volk, 3 for 3. Make it 4 of 4. Nothing but net on that free throw. And it's a 4-point lead. 47-43, 4:52 and counting. Tigers had the ball, putting up a 3. It's Mary from the near wing. That one won't go. Loose ball rebound, still a loose ball, still a loose ball, and it's picked up by Morgan Nelson. Morgan Nelson, well, I thought she got fouled, but they're calling a jump ball. Possession arrow will favor the Jaguars. Inbounds pass comes into Degernis, almost lost it. And now she'll swing it up over to the far wing there. That is Jenna Maker. Maker will look down low, shot up no good. Maker sneaks in down underneath, gets the rebound. Shot won't go, and now it's a 2-on-1. Make it a 2-on-2. Coming up from behind, Jenna Maker all the length of the whole court, blocks that shot. But then she takes 2 Jaguars out of bounds with her. And then the shot is up and good by Kelly M for the Tigers. Nelson to Ellie Larson. Now cross-court pass over to Degernis. Degernis fakes right, goes right, and then gets called for a travel. I meant to say fakes left, goes right, and gets called for the travel. 47-45, Tigers down 2. They have the ball with 4:03 to go here in the fourth quarter of play. 3:58 now as the Tigers cross the timeline. Fakes the pass to the right, goes left, looking down low, and it will go out of bounds. Turnover on the Tri-State Tigers gives the ball back to the Jaguars. Have a 2-point lead. 47-45. Clock is stopped now at 3:53, and now the clock will start again. Degernis over the timeline, approaches the top of the key, picks up her dribble, gets it to Morgan Nelson on the near high post, backs up behind the three-point arc, and then kicks it over far side back to Degernis. Degernis, Ellie Larson tees it up for a long two. Her foot was on the line, no good. Rebound by Jenna Maker. She'll get it out to Morgan Nelson. High post jumper out the front of the rim, no good. Mary pulls down the rebound for the Tigers, and it's stolen by Morgan Nelson, then intercepted by the Tigers. Pass up court to Mary, 1-on-0 off the glass and in. $20 points now from Mary for Tri-State. And Degernis has the ball now for the Jaguars. She'll lose the dribble and almost went into the hands of Morgan Nelson, but it's stolen away. It's another 2-on-1 for the Tigers. This time the shot won't go. Offensive board up and in by Remy L. That's her first bucket of the game. And a whistle and a timeout. Timeout Northern Cass. Stops the clock with 2:55 to go in the fourth quarter.
Second through fourth graders, if you're singing the national anthem, please go to the auditorium at this time.
And now the Tigers hold a 2-point lead off that bucket there by Remy L. And it's 49-47, advantage Tri-State. 20 seconds remaining here in the timeout. The Jaguars have only scored 2 points. I'll check that. Check that. I have 4 players not in the original scorebook columns that I've recorded points for that I got to remember that they're in other parts of my scorebook here just because I'm out of room. So they have not scored 2 points. They have actually scored 6 points in this quarter. But the Tigers have scored 10. Jaguars have the ball now. Abby Richmond back into the game, and there's another travel, and they'll give the ball back to the Tigers. Checking some out-of-town scores there. Nothing, there was one JV score, which doesn't pop up too often, from Class A basketball. We'll get to those a little bit later here. Tigers have the ball in a 2-point lead. 2:35 and counting, fourth quarter of play. Shot up from the baseline, no good. Jaguars pull down the defensive board. That's Crockett. Crockett loses in the backcourt. Or check that, that was Emma Lucas. That 45 and 43 switched around. Pass up court there, wide open. That's Maddie Zutwig, and her shot up no good. And the Tigers will come back the other way, and that'll be a foul on Brooke Degernis. I believe that's Degernis anyway. And it is. That'll be her 4th. She picked up 3 early in the first half, and now she just picked up her 4th. Tigers still with a 2-point lead and have the ball once again. 49-47, 2:07 and counting to go, fourth quarter of play. Top of the key now, that is Remy L. She had a bucket earlier here to give them the lead back. Loose ball poked away, and it's taken away by Haley Crockett. Crockett over the timeline, running down to the far corner. Goes down to the baseline, kicks it back outside there to Emma Lucas. Lucas drives to the low box, shot up no good. Loose ball will not go out of bounds. It'll be saved, but unfortunately turned over by the Jags to the Tigers. Tigers have a 2-on-2. Now they'll slow things down, wait for the teammates to show up. Mary at the top of the key, kicks it over far wing there to Kaya. And a timeout, Tri-State. That'll stop the clock with 1:33 to go. A 2-point lead for the Tigers, 49-47. Tigers have outscored the Jaguars 10-6 here in this fourth quarter of play. Jaguars outscored the Tigers 10-7 in that third quarter. So almost a flip-flop of these two teams from the third quarter to the fourth quarter. Difference of 1 point. Jenna Maker has scored a bucket. Janessa Volk connected on 2 free throws. Actually, she connected on 4 free throws here in the fourth quarter, and that's your 6 points for the Jaguars. So about 20 seconds remaining here in the timeout on the floor by Tri-State. Coach wants to talk this one over. Good game here. Once again, varsity game coming up after the conclusion of this one. In the C squad game, Northern Cass won 52-24 over the Tigers. Right now the Tigers have a 2-point lead in the junior varsity game. 93 seconds to go, 133, 49-47. Tigers inbound the ball right in front of the midcourt stripe, high on the far side. Now they'll dribble in between the circles. And it's stolen away there. It's stolen away by Maddie Zetwig, and up and in and one. Maddie Zwetwig. I'm trying so hard. I should just maybe not try and it'll sound better. She gets the bucket, we're tied, and she'll go to the free throw line to try and give the Jaguars the lead. 49-49, a minute 23 to go here. Fourth quarter play. Free throw is up and in, and the Jaguars have a 50-49 lead with a minute 23 to go here in the fourth quarter. Over the timeline, the ball goes, did it go out of bounds? No, it's a foul on the Jaguars. Team foul number 7 on the Jaguars now. That will send the Tigers to the free throw line. Tigers have 9 team fouls. I believe it's Mary at the free throw line. Can't quite see the jersey number. Ponytails covering up. Black jerseys with purple numbers outlined in yellow. It's a dark purple on dark black. We're tied at 50 as the free throw goes in. It's either Mary or Kaya at the free throw line. Minute 20 to go, tied at 50. Tigers at the free throw line with a chance to take the 1-point lead. Free throw is up. No good. Rebound to loose ball. Still loose ball on the floor. And they're going to call a jump ball. Possession arrow favors the Tigers. It was Kaya at the free throw line. So 1 for 2 on that trip for Kaya. Ties us up at 50. Tigers inbound. Baseline jumper up off the back of the rim too strong. Offensive board and another foul on the Jaguars. That foul goes on Emma Lucas, and that will send Remy L to the free throw line for the Tigers. 10 seconds came off the clock in that little short spurt of action there. A minute 10 remains here in the fourth quarter. We're tied at 50. Free throw is up and in. Remy L with 3 points here in the fourth quarter and gives her team a 51-50 lead, and second free throw is on the way. It's up, it's in. 2-point lead, 52-50, Tigers up, a minute 7 and counting. That's Crockett over the timeline, puts up the baseline jumper, and it's in, and we're tied. Crockett has 7 points now, tied at 52, 60 seconds flat to go here in the fourth quarter of play. Maddie Zutwig with 3 in this quarter and 3 in the game. Jenna Maker with 2 in this quarter and 2 in the game. Janessa Volk with 4 in this quarter and 6 in the game. Haley Crockett with 2 in this quarter and 7 in the game. Haley Crockett also 1 of 2 from the free throw line. We're tied up at 52 coming out of the timeout. It's the fourth quarter play here, and we have 1 minute to go. Tigers will have the ball. Jaguars will put pressure in the backcourt. All 5 players in the backcourt. Inbounds pass is successful. Still in the backcourt. Now they cross the timeline. 56 seconds to go. Tied at 52. Probably got away with a travel there. Shot up, won't go. Offensive board turns into a loose ball, and that will turn into a offensive rebound and a shot. And now a jump ball, no, a push. Who's it on? I believe it might be on the Tigers here. It is, and we'll march down to the left side of the court. The Jaguars will shoot free throws with 41.8 seconds to go. 7:25 p.m. We've reached the 1 hour, 27 minute. Matter of fact, just a few seconds away from 1 hour, 28 minute mark of our broadcast. Haley Crockett at the free throw line. She's 1 of 2 in the game, and she misses the first one. We're still tied at 52, 41.8 seconds to go. And a substitution on the way for Tri-State. Kyle will check out, and checking in is Jaden, I believe. Yes, it is. Tied at 52. Crockett missed the first free throw. Second one is up. Second one bounces in. So 1 point lead for the Jaguars, 53-52. 38 seconds, and a steal in the backcourt by Maddie Zetwig. Looks down low, shot is up, won't go. Loose ball underneath, is pulled down by the Tigers. And a whistle, and I believe a timeout by Tri-State. That is indeed the case. 29.3 seconds to go. 53-52, advantage Jaguars. Whoever ends up on the losing end of this one will certainly be heartbroken. It'll be a heartbreaker for the losing end of this one. That's what I'm trying to say. 53-52. So about 10 seconds to go here in the timeout on the floor. Timeout was taken by the Tri-State Tigers. Want to talk things over. Down one here. With 29.3 seconds to go. Tigers will have the ball. They have to go the whole length of the court. Jaguars will not put any pressure in the backcourt this time around. Inbounds pass ends up in the hands of Mary. She'll cross the timeline. 24 seconds to go. Shot clock is off. Near wing, that is Remy L. Shot is up and a little too strong. Loose ball comes back down into the hands of nobody. Jump ball favors the Jaguars. I couldn't see it, and the ref couldn't see it, so the ref had no choice but to call a jump ball. As far as I know, nobody had the ball. 11 seconds to go. It's a 1 point game in the backcourt. Crockett has the ball. 7 seconds to go. Jags lead by 1, and Crockett dribbles down to the corner, and she will be fouled by Jaden C. 10 team fouls now for the Tigers. 53-52, 4.8 seconds to go. Haley Crockett, 2 of 4, misses the first one. She's now 2 of 5 from the free throw line. She has 7 points. Check that, she missed the second one too. She has 8 points actually, not 7. Shot is up and in by the Jaguars. At the buzzer, 55-52, your final. Jaguars win the C game, they win the junior varsity game, and the varsity game is up next. We'll go through some final numbers here for the JV squad. And I have to be honest, I looked down to mark the missed free throw by Crockett, and I didn't see who made that final bucket. Oh, it happens sometimes to the best of us, but let me see if I can get that information. Yeah, so I'm being told it was Jenna Maker who made that final bucket for the Jaguars. 55-52, your final score. Morgan Nelson ends the night with 6. Faith Austin ends the night with 5. Anika Reichel with 2. Jenna Maker with 4, including that shot at the buzzer. Brianna Treader with 5. Ellie Larson with 3. Abby Richmond with 6. Macy Danielson with 6. Maddie Zetwig with 3. Janessa Volk with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Emma Lucas won the night with 2. And Haley Crockett ends the night with 5, 7, 8. And she is your leading scorer. Haley Crockett with 8 points for the Jaguars. And they win 55-52. We're gonna go off air for just a moment here, reset, and get things ready for the varsity game. Once again, your final in the C squad game, Northern Cass wins 52-24. And your final in the junior varsity game, Northern Cass wins 55-52 with a shot at the buzzer by Jenna Maker. Time of the junior varsity game, 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 11 seconds. We'll break and come back in about, let's see, they haven't put the time up on the clock yet, so we're going to say about 5 minutes. We'll be back here on the North Dakota Sports Channel as well as on Jaguars Online. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned. We're back with the varsity game in just a few minutes here on Jaguars Online and the North Dakota Sports Channel.